Welcome home, family and fellow citizens of the African Order. I'm here with another video, and the topic of this discussion is why are people still following Al Sharpton? I mean, what has he really done to warrant his following? He's old, he's tired, clearly he's distracted. You know, it's time for a change. Like I say, I've been patient with this guy. And all he does is chase behind every problem. Every time a problem pop up, he right there behind it, running around with his cameras, taking his little selfies in the gym, trying to flex his little chickpea muscle. And I'm like, what has this guy really done? He doesn't get ahead of any issues or concerns that address black people. He's always chasing. We cannot continue like this. Just imagine if blacks were able to compartmentalize their talent, build businesses and industries around our essential needs like food, hospitals, medical manufacturing. Then we can start branching off into manufacturing homes, cars, computers, whatever it is that will service the needs of our people. What will blacks look like then? It's been 150 years since slavery ended. Blacks ain't getting no more out of this system than what they got right now. If whatever you thought blacks should have right now, if we don't got it, we ain't gonna get it. You're not gonna wait 150 years beyond and then start saying, oh, y'all never did get that. Well, here you go. No, that's not gonna happen. And as opposed to building towards this, Al Sharpton, he'd rather march and beg for it. And at the end of begging, when you start marching, you're telling the person you're marching against that we have no desire to do this on our own. We're going to force you to do it. I remember talking to this guy about this years ago. And I said, why don't blacks just build their own businesses? And he was like, nah, we going to make them serve us. That's how you get your respect. You make them serve you. Now, that was a coward speaking. And I didn't even realize it at the time. Like I said, this was years ago. And I'm sitting up here, when I think back to that today, I said that was a real dummy you was talking to. You're going to force people to cook your food. And you're going to sit there and let them watch you eat it. That was a real dummy I was talking to. Like I said, Al Sharpton, he'd rather beg for jobs than to build a business. Just imagine building auto manufacturing, homes, computers, all around our reoccurring needs, clothing, shoes. Just think how many, if we can just take a portion of our people, because there's no way on earth 150 years beyond slavery we don't own any essential businesses or industries just to serve our need. We ain't talking about nobody, just to serve our need. There's 44 million blacks in this country. We can create hundreds of businesses, industries, jobs. We could establish, we could set our economic floor. We don't have to go out here and beg nobody for peanuts. But not one of these so-called black leaders is talking about this. Racism just don't end on its own. You got to take the power away from the racists. And you do that by building businesses and industries to service your need. Because all one racist white person got to do is be in a position to hire, fire, limit, deny goods and services, and there's your racism. If you have your own ability to pay for your job, to pay for food to put on your table that the white man can't touch, He can be as bigoted as he want to, but he don't have the power to affect you. This is why I told people a while ago, would the world be better if all whites were bigots? And of course not. Of course not. He didn't think the question through. A bigot is a person that don't like a person or group of another race, but they're powerless to act on it. A racism is just an empowered bigot that does have the power to negatively impact a person, race, or group. So if all white people were bigots and didn't have the ability or the power to impact or change your life, life for blacks would be wonderful. They can't touch us. And it starts by building your own businesses and industries. Al Sharpton ain't gonna talk about this, you know. And then I'm looking at the news yesterday, and now they got this fool Larry Elders. Now he wanna run for governor. Now him and Al Sharpton they debated a few times or whatever, but Larry Elders is a sick black man. He's sitting up here telling Candace Owens how reparations went towards whites because they lost their slaves. And Candace Owens sitting up there like a stupid ancient mama talking about some, really? I didn't know that. You know, it's funny. When you get these coons and these ancient mamas together and they talking about getting reparations for black people, we're lazy, we want handouts, you know, anything negative to say, they'll say it. But you apply the same reparations to whites who lost their slaves. Now all of a sudden, oh, that's a good idea. They should. You know, I don't understand it. And this guy here, Larry Elders, is a judge. He's a judge that swear people in this court on the Bible. And now he wants to take reparations and don't want to give them to blacks, but you want to see whites get it. I don't understand how you come up with that. You know, you want to reimburse the perpetrators of slavery, but don't want to reimburse the slaves. Do you see how dangerous this guy was when he was in the court of law? Can you imagine having this guy as your judge? You know, and one of his things that he said to Candace Owens was, you know, well, you can be mad if you want, but blacks were property. And when they ended slavery, the whites lost their slaves, so they can be reimbursed for their property. When I tell you I wanted to throw my phone across the street when I first heard this guy say that, you know, first of all, we were never nobody's property. You know, this guy here just this is a sick love that you have, Larry Elders. This is a sick love that you have for whites, that you would relegate yourself, your ancestors, the greatness that they had to property to justify repairing the loss that your masters have missed out on because they could no longer own your people. This is some sick stuff right here. And we have fools like this. He's not the only one residing over court cases. And now this guy wants to be governor. Do you see why this madness has to stop? Now, see, I wish that we had our own community. I wish to God we had our own community so we could deal with people like this and set the example as to what happened to those who want to turn on their own people for whites. But that day will come. It's gonna come. And when I hear him say this, I'm asking myself, where's Al Sharpton? You supposed to be a pastor, a civil rights leader. Where are you at? This like I said, this guy was a judge in a court of law. And saying that black people were property. But as far as last I checked, God made us in his image. I don't care what Whitey say. He can't change that. The bottom line is this. Everything we have is at risk. But we can change that if we change the direction of our people and we change our so-called black leaders. Then we can go about the business of living our lives free of racism and free of these sambos, these ancient mimers, and live the lives that we were intended to live. I'm going to end this video here. And if you like this message, please share it. And if you like this content, consider subscribing to this channel. And with this video, as with all my videos, it is for the complete reparation of my people. And I'll see you in my next message. Ashe.